as we keep things moving here, another decision that has been made here. Stanford, a program that's lost a lot here with this coaching change. That was not at the best time for them, obviously. And Oklahoma is benefiting. So we talked about Oklahoma yesterday. Looks like they're the favorite for running back Jaden Ott after adding John.
They got him.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
They got him. He's done.
So that's done. But now they're really starting to build what you have mentioned was the thing that maybe was going to hold them back, and that's the offensive line here.
Yeah, I mean, this is Oklahoma. This is a program that you associate with offensive line in the modern era right away, and they were nowhere near that. Look, Jackson Arnold had his faults. The whole team, the injuries at receiver were probably insurmountable, but the offensive line was not able to bail out the quarterback as they may have been able to do in the past. You put last year's skill position behind some of those old offensive lines, they would have looked a lot better. They would have found a way to make it work even with all those injuries. So this to me is where they needed to really upgrade. The recruiting was there. You talk about a guy like Fasusi, who's going to be one of the stars of this conference once he's up to speed, but you're talking about a true freshman. He's currently running with the second team. You need more. We mentioned them Oklahoma earlier as a Steen team, but they make a very, very strong move here, landing Jake Maikkula. This is 6'5", 300 pounds, 16 games of ACC football. Sounds weird to say. I guess some years of some games started in the Pac-12, the old Pac-12, now the Pac-2, and then 12 games this year at the ACC level, 2 years of eligibility remaining. And you have the running back. You have the quarterback. You're going to run the ball a lot. They ran, look at the Washington State last year. They ran the ball 55% of the time. I imagine with Mateer and Ott, that's going to stay in that range. So you need physical, aggressive, experienced offensive linemen to move SEC defensive linemen off the ball. I think that's what you're getting here with Maikkula. Stanford's not what it was in the past as far as producing these big-time offensive linemen. And, usually if you talk about the Harbaugh era, the early Shaw era, Stanford was probably the gold standard for offensive line. I don't think it's there now, but this is a guy who has played. He has experience. He's from Littleton, Colorado, so he's getting a little closer to home, transferring to Oklahoma. But look, if he can't cut it, if he's not going to be the starter for you, he's at least going to provide you experience, depth. We saw what happened with the injuries. I don't know if this is an impact player. I don't know if he has the girth, just from watching some clips of him, that you associate with Oklahoma when they're really rolling. But he's going to be smart. Went to Stanford. He's got experience at not the SEC level, but a legitimate level, whether it's Pac-12 or ACC. And I think the experience factor, in fact, he's got 2 years of eligibility, but this is an older player. He's from the class of 2022. So he's been in college for 3 years. I think this is going to raise the floor of your room. A guy like Steen, I think, we talked about him earlier, Blake Steen, that's the kind of guy I think could really upgrade your ceiling just because of the size and physicality he brings, 6'5", 328. But Maikkula is going to upgrade your floor. And if you're Oklahoma, you need both.
And again, this is a guy who has multiple years of eligibility, so there could be, more development left as well.
Yeah, and look, just to talk about some of the, the numbers here. So quarterback sack percentage is something I like to look at when you look at offensive lines, is the percentage of dropbacks against FBS competition that lead to a sack. Oklahoma was 132nd, which is bad. That's 2 from the bottom. 12.56% of their dropbacks resulted in sacks, which is the worst, right, of any major team. You look at the teams under them, Southern Mississippi and Kent State. So Power 5-wise, Oklahoma had a case to be the worst offensive line in the country. Some of that was the fact that the receivers couldn't get open. They were all hurt. Quarterback had a tough time, but that's bottom of the barrel. So any improvement that you can make, you got to grab it while you can, even if it's not a superstar impact first-round player. And I think this is just a solid move for Jim Nagy, who we talked about. You know him well. Somebody who knows the importance of depth on an NFL offensive line, taking that NFL experience here to the college level.
And versatility as well. A guy who can play probably a couple spots on that line. So